What are equivalent fractions? Basically, they are equal fractions. Look at the two figures. The first figure has a fraction for its shaded part, 3/4, and so with the second. They are equal. If I were to cut the second figure equally along this horizontal line, then the number of parts becomes 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the shaded parts become 6. So the shaded part still remains to be 3/4, but it can be named as 6/8. So we can say 3/4 is equivalent to 6/8. Second example, the shaded part for the first figure is 2/3 and also the second figure. Again, they are equal. If I were to cut the second figure vertically and equally, then the shaded part becomes 4/6. And if I were to divide it again, but this time along this horizontal line, then the shaded part becomes 8/12. The shaded part still remains to be 2/3. So we can conclude that 2/3, 4/6, 8/12 are indeed equivalent fractions. So equivalent fractions are fractions having different terms or numbers with the same values. Now, without the illustrations, how can you tell that two fractions are equivalent? Actually, there are a lot of ways, but I'll show you two. The first is the faster way, which is cross multiplication. For example, 3/6 and 4/8. You cross multiply 3 and 8, you get a product of 24. Do the same with 6 and 4, you will get the same product, 24. Since the cross products are the same, then the two fractions 3/6 and 4/8 are equivalent. Another example, 10/9 and 5/4. Cross multiply 10 and 4 and 9 and 5. Since the cross products are not equal, then the two fractions 10/9 and 5/4 are not equivalent. Second way, by reducing fractions to its lowest term. To reduce a fraction, you simply divide both numerator and denominator by the same number. For example, 3/6 and 4/8. 3 and 6 can still be divided by 3. So 3/6 is reduced to 1/2. 4/8 can be divided by 4. 4/8 becomes 1/2. Since the lowest terms are the same, then 3/6 and 4/8 are equivalent. Another example, 10/6 and 5/4. 10/6 are even numbers, therefore you can divide both of them by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5, 6 divided by 2 is 3, so it is reduced to 5/3. 5/4 is already in its lowest term, so simply copy it and compare. 5/3 is not equal to 5/4, therefore 10/6 and 5/4 are not equivalent. At this time, let's have exercises. Identify each pair of fractions as equivalent or not equivalent by cross multiplication. Number 1, equivalent. Number 2, not equivalent. Number 3, equivalent. Number 4, equivalent. Next, identify each pair of fractions as equivalent or not equivalent by reducing. Number 1, 12/8 and 9/6. Equivalent. 12 and 8 can be divided by 4, 9 and 6 by 3. 12/8 is reduced to 3/2, and so with 9/6. That's why the answer is equivalent. Number 2, 7/14 and 1/3? The answer is not equivalent because 7 and 14 can be divided by 7 and the reduced form is 1/2, which is not equal to 1/3. I have shown you only two ways to determine whether two fractions are equivalent or not. There are still other ways and I challenge you to discover one. Like equivalent fractions, we may have different races, skin colors, beliefs, languages, cultures, and preferences. But in the eyes of God, we are all the same. This is Teacher Zilla reaching out to you, your Pinay math teacher.